Watch more, feel more. Dell.
2 wins out of 2 for Pakistan at the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2021, and it's against the big two in Group 2. India and New Zealand have both been downed by Babar Azam side. That'll give Pakistan plenty to go forward in this tournament. They are now hot favourites to certainly top this group and advance to the semi-finals. One would think. We didn't know where this game was heading until that quick-fire partnership between Asif Ali and Shoaib Malik, 48 of 23 for the sixth wicket, that eventually makes the scoreboard look like it made light work of that eventual target. This is Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Dell, Tom Moody, and Shan Masood. Let's go to Shan first up. It's the kind of win you'd be very pleased with if you were a Pakistan fan, Shan.
Look, when you look at World Cups, it's not about the brand of cricket you play. It's about getting points and making sure you get points in vital games. And Pakistan knew that these India and New Zealand games were very important. And again, it got a bit messy in the middle, but there was a lot of pressure on Asif Ali due to him not initially in his initial stages of the career finishing those games for Pakistan. But today, in this big game, when Pakistan really needed him, he came up and he executed his skills brilliantly. And for Shoaib Malik, sort of to show how important his presence out there in these conditions when the going got tough. That one over, that matchup against Santner, I know he was waiting for it. And as soon as Santner came on, he took the initiative and again made sure that Pakistan got those 2 vital points.
We weren't quite sure where this game was heading until Asif Ali and Shoaib Malik got together, Tom.
Yeah, look, I agree with Shan. I think Shoaib Malik's presence in the middle there, you can't underestimate it. Look, Asif Ali, his power finish there was nothing short of brilliant, but I just felt the maturity and the leadership that Shoaib Malik showed there in the middle to navigate that tricky period. I've seen over the years so many teams lose their way in situations like that, and particularly on a surface that is not as flat or as consistent as you'd ideally like it to be. So new batsmen coming in on that surface, it's always difficult. But he measured it perfectly. He was the master of control out there, and again, a very professional job from Pakistan this evening.
It's also something which we've almost missed in this tournament so far. That's the middle order of a team, bailing them out in a chase, under pressure. What stood out, Tom, in terms of just how your numbers 4 and 5 have done it? It didn't look like New Zealand, correct me if I'm wrong, it didn't look like New Zealand gave them a lot of freebies or boundary balls per se.
No, I think it's just the calmness under pressure. You can easily, succumb to the pressure and play recklessly. But it's just being calm, still accumulating without showing huge amount of stress out there as a partnership. And when you find your moment, when that moment comes, when the right matchup comes, you take advantage of it. And that Santner over was the one for Shoaib, but he showed the initiative there. He does hit down the ground beautifully against spin. And it's nearly like you've read the book before when you've seen him do that. And Asif Ali, he's in the side as that power finisher. He has had a lot of criticism over recent times with regards to his consistency in that role, but kudos to Pakistan for persevering with him. He's done it domestically regularly as a power hitter, but he hasn't really done it on the international stage consistently. So he's shown tonight that he's capable of banging the ball out the ground. And that's only going to do his confidence and the team's confidence a lot of good, knowing that they've got that power down the order.
Shoaib Malik's been around such a long time, Shan. He had his first-class debut in the year Tom Moody retired from international cricket. I think that's how far we go back. And when we look at it from here, when I watch Pakistan cricket in pockets, I think, all right, Shoaib Malik's done. He's probably not going to get another game off. He comes back, I'm thinking, he's surely not going to do the same thing again. And he just does it. There's something about Shoaib Malik.
I think with the PSL this year, you saw Shoaib Malik was in the zone, and they were in the UAE. So that's sort of like a close sort of preview to what Shoaib Malik had to offer at the World Cup, and then Pakistan pounced on it when in the domestic T20 on a pitch that looked like a 140 wicket. He took his team to 175 against us, scored about 84 of 50 balls, and that sort of cemented his place at the World Cup. And again, if Shoaib Malik's not there, yes, credit due to Asif Ali. He was brilliant today. He finally got that monkey off his back in terms of finishing off a game. But Shoaib Malik's presence allowed them to assess what matchup was better for Asif and what matchup was better for Malik. When Santner came into ball, Malik made sure he played all of that over. And then the Southie over, again, Asif played majority of it. Shoaib Malik took a single on the first ball, and again, it's that experience that counts. He's been there, he's done that for countless number of years. The members of the Pakistani side that weren't born when Shoaib Malik made his debut, so that just shows how vital experience can be during such a big tournament.
Yeah, you're making more than one person feel old on this panel. But looking at those two wins, Tom, a high pressure win against India, and then this sort of tough win, you could say now, at the end of the game against New Zealand. Where does Pakistan go from here? Just the sort of feeling you want in a camp?
Oh, look, absolutely. Pakistan could certainly argue going into this tournament that they had a tough draw in the sense that they had India first, New Zealand second. Two of the toughest teams in their group. They've got them right up front. They'll be thankful that that's the case now because they've put them both to bed and they're sitting beautifully at the top of that group. But it's important that they, from this point onwards, they continue to keep a lid on their performances and try to continue to grow on what they've achieved so far. This tournament's about growing. This tournament's about peaking at the right time. There's no point thinking you've won the final in the first two games. Really, they need to continue to develop, continue to improve what they're doing. And when it comes to, if they do qualify, which it looks likely that they will, when it comes to that semi-final, they are really playing their best brand of cricket.
Yeah, I mean, with the relative chaos that preceded this tournament, I'm not surprised at all that this is how Pakistan have started. And I know some very hardcore Pakistan cricket fans, Shan, that also wouldn't be surprised if they mess it up against a Scotland or a Namibia, knowing what can happen. But come on, let's be fair. This team now looks in pole position to finish at top of this group.
Look, I think if Pakistan are to look at something now is normally whenever Pakistan have won events, whether it was the 92 World Cup, whether it was the 2009 World Cup, whether it was the Champions Trophy, Pakistan have always come from behind as underdogs. They started this tournament as underdogs as well, but now after these two wins, everybody is going to be looking at Pakistan as favorites. Now the real challenge would be, because people are going to talk about it, there's going to be a lot of hype around it. How will they manage that favorite stag going into the rest of the tournament? So that's a challenge. That's another challenge. That's probably a challenge they did not expect. And it'll be nice to see how Pakistan react to actually being favorites in a tournament for a change.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's see how things go from here. But before we leave, what about New Zealand? First game, Tom, what do you take away from this one?
Look, I think we all, from afar, underestimated how difficult the pitch was. It wasn't that 170 plus surface. It clearly was a scrappy wicket that, 140, 150 was going to be a good total. So it's very hard for them to measure their batting performance. One thing they can look at with their batting performance, or not performance, but the way they went about it, is the structure of their team, where people came into bat, and really review the reasons behind that. Did that work? Is that something they're going to continue to do? Because it certainly, caught us by surprise. And I think it caught a lot of people by surprise with regards to how they approached that. They're still a very good side. They showed that they're a fighting side because they nearly drew that game back. I wouldn't be too despondent if I was in that New Zealand camp. I think it's important that they, just get that fine tuning right and start playing the cricket they know they can play.
Shan, New Zealand, thoughts? Were they actually underpowered at the bat? Is that where they lost this?
Look, I think, again, we misread the pitch. Maybe they did as well. At 90 for 3 and 13 overs, that's a really good platform. And they're only scoring 45 runs and losing about 5 wickets at the end. Pakistan did bowl well, but scored less than run a ball in the last 7 overs with 7 wickets in hand. And they batted deep as well. So I think that's where they went wrong. If you're looking at the bowling, yes, there are odd bits and pieces that you can point out, but when you're defending 135, you need a 10 out of 10 performance. And even Pakistan against India, We talk about Pakistan not getting wickets in the middle overs. So whenever you put a good performance out, it's still never perfect. So you're bound to make a few mistakes in the bowling department. They did, but you can't be overly critical. I thought they were a 9.5 out of 10 with the ball and the field. But they were those 20 runs were missed by not so New Zealand sort of character-like batting at towards the end. I thought they panicked and they were quite jittery throughout the innings while batting.
Yeah, sounds fair enough. Before you leave us, good that you mentioned their fielding. Devin Conway's had it for the catch of the tournament so far, Tom?
Yeah, that was a stunning catch, a really, really good catch. And we've seen some good ones already, but I think that's at the moment sitting at the top of the pile. Expect some more, though.
Shan?
I'd like a split screen between this catch and the Aiden Markram catch. They're exactly the same catches, but in opposite directions. So that'll be good to see. A split screen would be nice if somebody could come up with it.
Let's send this clip across to the ICC, our friends in the ICC. I'm sure they'll be happy to oblige. Tom Moody, thank you very much. See you again very soon. Shan Masood, you come thick and fast. So do the games of the Pakistan side. So I'm going to see you on Friday now for the game against Afghanistan. And this sets up, you think, that India-New Zealand clash on Sunday just perfectly, with Pakistan winning both their opening games against these two oppositions. So it's been a great day for Pakistan. South Africa picking up some important points too. Join us tomorrow then, as we will continue our conversation around the World Cup on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Dell.
Watch more, feel more, Dell.